Satang Prasanga.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, and welcome to today's session. How are you doing? I pray that all is well with you and your families at this time, and that you are managing the difficulties of the lockdown. So thus far, we've covered 47 sessions of inspiration and motivation to help us during difficult times. And today is session number 48. But from today onwards, we only have 5 sessions left. We come to the end of the sutras. So it's been a very interesting journey. We've discussed so many things. We've discussed self-development, self-awareness, Krishna's intervention, so many different categories, and even a little bit of politics here and there, just so that we can understand where we're being situated. Although no malice is intended in that, it's simply for educational purposes, so that we can assess ourselves, assess the environment, and learn how to move forward. So today will be an introductory session to the last 5 sutras, because just like any good book, these sutras, when I read them many years back, I would take one every day and think about it very deeply every day. And it gave me such amazing strength, and I hope it's done something for you. Surely by the end of the sessions, we would have completed about almost 55 sutras, and more like 53 sutras. So I'm sure at least one of those could have given you some food for thought somewhere along the line, something that could have said, wow, that's interesting, I think I should apply myself in that direction. If that has happened, I'm very happy that something I could have shared with you has inspired you like that. So having said that, we left with the last 5, and just like any good book, has a very powerful introduction and a very powerful summary at the end. So the last 5 that we're going to do, starting from more like tomorrow. Today I'm just going to mention the first of the 5. And more like from tomorrow, we're going to be reading through and going through the 5 filters that if you apply it, you will know how to act, when to act, how to make a decision, how to know that this is what Krishna wants you to do. These are very powerful tools for devotees and for us to develop in a very healthy way in our Krishna consciousness. So having said that, let's move on to today's so-called introduction of the 5 filters, and we will touch on the first filter, the first one today. So the introduction to the 5 filters, they go as follows. When do we directly and decisively act? When do we prayerfully wait? How to discern Krishna's desire during perplexing, uncertain times? We can view circumstances through 5 filters, and they can help us decide whether we should wait, be cautious, or act. These 5 filters will help you discern your options with greater clarity. Number 1. Motives. What is behind my desire for action? What motivates me to act instead of wait? So we see that what is being mentioned here today is very powerful tools. How to know when to act. How to make that decision when things are uncertain, when you cannot decide. How to make that decision in a moment of indecision. I am remembering in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna and Arjuna in the first chapter. Arjuna gave 5 reasons why he should not fight. He gives 4 in the first chapter, and the 5th one he gives is in the second chapter, beginning of the second chapter. So, CEDS. C for compassion, E for enjoyment, D for destruction of dynasty, and S for sinful activity. CEDS. So those are the 4 examples. Or if you like the months of the year, you can turn it around and make it December. DECS. A simple way to remember it. So again, C for compassion, E for enjoyment, D for destruction of dynasty, and S for sinful activity. So Arjuna gave the compassion argument that how can we kill, this is our family people. And then he said, that's not working. Krishna didn't buy that one. So we said, okay, but then enjoyment. How can we enjoy when our families are here and we'll go to heaven? How is that enjoyment? And that didn't work. And then he used the moral argument, destruction of dynasty, Krishna. That if we do this, then there'll be immorality, vana sankara. There'll be unwanted progeny. And then that didn't work. And then he said, well, at least because you understand morality, at least you'll see that this is sinful to kill. And that also didn't work. So the beginning of the second chapter starts with this point of indecision. How to decide. This is a very powerful thing. How to make powerful decisions. And what is our motives? Motive is everything in life. Motive is everything. Motive even decides, as we've been discussing, what is karma yoga and what is bhakti yoga. Because the activity is the same, but the motive, the consciousness, where is the consciousness at that time? And who is in the center? Who is this being done for? These are all very, very powerful tools and very powerful points to consider when we are trying to progress as sadhakas, as seekers, as aspirants of devotional service. So today's one starts with the first one. Number 1, the first filter that is discussed. And I'm just touching on it today because tomorrow we'll go into a little more depth. So today the first filter is described as motives. What is your motive? Why did you join Krishna consciousness? Why do you associate with the people that you do as devotees? Why do you associate with that group? If we address these things carefully, why do I do what I do in devotional service? We'll see that there's certain motives, and that gives a secondary reason. There's certain needs that we have. And if those are not fulfilled, because Krishna says there's 4 kinds of people that come to him. Chaturvidha bhajanti mam jana sukito arjuna artha jignasi artarti. So these 4 kinds of people, one who's distressed, one is in search of wealth, one who wants some healing, maybe the body is not well, and one who's a seeker. So 4 kinds of people that come, but they're all pious, Krishna says. They all are pious people. So we have some qualification to enter into spiritual practice, that is piety. because piety will determine whether you sustain your devotional service or not. Because even if we somehow fall from devotional service, we'll still be pious, we'll still go to a temple, we'll still pray, we'll still do these things. So it's very important to understand that piety, although it has it's relevant when we first starting devotional service, but beyond that point, then bhakti is essential. Then piety becomes an impediment actually. And we discussed that if you're too attached to being pious, remember the Brahmana and the taxi driver, we gave that example. So what is our motives? So we're just touching on it today. We'll read through here. Motives. What is behind my desire for action? Why is it that I want to do it this way? Who will I please? Am I trying to impress a person? Am I trying to impress? Because usually when we act, it's for pleasing someone, either myself or somebody else. So if it's either myself or somebody else, Krishna is not in that equation. So we have to assess that carefully. Who is in the center? Who is this being done for, this action? And then, what motivates me to act instead of waiting? Is it that I'm impulsive? Usually in the mode of passion, we get a little impulsive and we just want to get it done and just go through it, and whatever happens, we'll just see. But is it calculated? Is it thought about carefully? Is it prayerful? Is this what Krishna wants? So we're going to assess all these points starting from tomorrow. And for the next 5 days, we have these 5 filters, which are very, very powerful. These are the essential keys that are going to help us. And it's something that helps me right up to today. Whenever, as a manager, as serving as a temple president in Midran, there are times when we have to make critical decisions. How do you know it's the right one? Because you have devotees' lives at risk. You're making decisions on devotees' lives. And it's not just materially calculated decisions. We're making spiritual decisions on devotees' lives. You need spiritual strength for that. You need spiritual prayer for that. Because a wrong decision could end up moving in another direction. So it was critical that somehow these keys came my way and I was able to apply it in my life in Krishna consciousness. And up to now, it's given me tremendous strength. So I just mentioned the key, I just mentioned the first key today. From tomorrow, for the next 5 days, we'll be going over these 5 essential keys. So please don't miss out. If you somehow missed out on the past 47 sessions that we were doing, please don't miss out on these last 5. They are absolutely essential for thought and practice in our Krishna consciousness as we're moving forward. So thank you very much. I'm really looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Hare Krishna.